Rachel tilted her head thoughtfully. I wanted to return Cheyenne unharmed, she said, and suddenly pulled out a knife, slashing downward. Cheyenne bent at the waist, narrowly dodging. Red liquid splashed from the cut surface nearby, and he glanced at it, unimpressed. Is that so? He muttered, eyeing the blade. I can't say the same. With a sharp frown, he raised a can of sauce to block the next attack. The knife clanged off it. Twisting the can in a smooth motion, he disarmed her. The blade clattered to the floor. Seizing the moment, Cheyenne lunged and tried to stab her with the knife, but Rachel slipped aside. Do you really think you can beat me? She scoffed, sweeping his legs. He fell hard. The air knocked from him. Rachel stood over him. Did you forget who taught you to fight? She said coolly. Cheyenne clenched his jaw, eyes closed against the pain as she crouched beside him. Fighting, she said, is only a means to an end. Now answer me, what is the point of this fight? Meanwhile, the woman who had been standing nearby, shielding her head from the leaking ceiling, looked around in confusion. She heard a child crying and turned sharply. There, not far off, Yevgeny knelt on the floor, trembling and sobbing. Mom! Where are you? He cried, clutching his arms around himself. Where's my mom? The woman rushed to his side, concern flooding her face. Are you hurt? She asked, kneeling beside him. Yevgeny looked up with tear-filled eyes. I can't find her, he wailed. She's gone. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he begged. Please, help me. But behind his back, his fingers slowly curled around the handle of a hidden knife, ready to strike. Back in the fight, Rachel repeated her question. What's the point of this fight, Cheyenne? He blinked, momentarily distracted by the question. Was she really asking about meaning? He wondered. Rachel moved fast. She lunged with her blade, but he snapped out of his thoughts just in time and rolled aside, avoiding the strike. Both fighters regained their footing. Rachel shifted into stance again. She attacked. Cheyenne dodged, grabbed her wrist mid-swing, and growled through clenched teeth. Is this an operation? Rachel met his eyes and nodded. Yes, an operation to free you. Despite being restrained, she pushed the dagger closer to his chest. Cheyenne gritted his teeth and pushed back, trying to hold her off. Then something clicked in his mind. Wait, what if they planned something else? He glanced over his shoulder, too late. Rachel yanked herself free and slashed. The blade grazed his cheek. Staggering back, Cheyenne caught his balance and scanned the shelves. His eyes landed on several cans. Bare hands are a bit much right now, he muttered, grabbing the cans and hurling them. Rachel dodged gracefully. If we just deal with that woman, she said coolly, you'll end up back at the mansion of the dead. She smiled darkly. You belong to the mansion, Cheyenne. Don't forget that. His expression shifted, an emotion flickering in his eyes. Doubt. Do I really? He asked quietly. Rachel's answer came swift and smooth. Yes, so why don't we just go home? She rushed forward, dagger flashing, but just then her blade cut through a hanging bag. Flour burst from it, clouding the air. Rachel recoiled, covering her face. Is this flour? She hissed, coughing. Cheyenne didn't hesitate. He lunged, brandishing a pair of scissors. The tip slashed across her arm and clipped some of her hair as she twisted away. He spun the other half of the scissors on his finger, winding up for another strike. Rachel dropped low and dodged cleanly. Still crouched, she smirked up at him. That, she said, a spark of admiration in her voice, was necessary. Rachel raised her dagger, preparing to strike, a fierce grin on her face. That's the Cheyenne I know, she exclaimed, but her blow never landed. Cheyenne blocked the dagger mid-swing with the blades of his scissors. Rachel froze, eyes wide in disbelief. She stared at him. He hadn't hesitated at all. Are you really saying I'm property? Cheyenne asked coldly. Without waiting for an answer, he leaned forward, seized Rachel's arm, twisted it behind her back, and with a sharp motion, threw her into a nearby grocery cart. Caught completely off guard, she cried out as the impact made her drop the dagger. Staggering in the cart, Rachel screamed and struggled to sit up, glaring at him furiously. Cheyenne stood over her. "Do I really need to go home to a family like that?" he asked. His eyes narrowed as he stared down at her. "Who calls their family property?" Rachel didn't respond. Cheyenne walked behind the cart, pushed it forward, and it slammed into a second cart. Without hesitation, he locked the two carts together with a nearby restraint. He stepped back, voice calm but cutting. "Then maybe you're more like an object now too," Rachel called after him, shouting his name again and again, desperation rising in her voice. But Cheyenne didn't stop. He turned and walked away, leaving her behind. Nearby, Yevgeny was still crying. The woman leaned over him gently, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Are you okay?" she asked softly, glancing around. "Where are your parents?" Yevgeny's hand tightened around the handle of his hidden dagger, preparing to strike. But before he could act, Cheyenne appeared, jumping over the nearby counters. "Are you all right?" he called out to the woman. She gasped, startled. "Cheyenne, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in class?" She quickly noticed his appearance. His clothes were torn, his face bruised. "Wait, what happened to you?" she asked, anxiety creeping into her voice. "Are you hurt?" Yevgeny lowered the knife behind his back again, glancing sideways at Cheyenne. His thoughts raced. That's him. The legend of the mansions of the dead. Cheyenne walked closer to the woman, relief and energy in his voice. Yevgeny, still crouching, thought to himself, if Cheyenne's here, then Rachel must have lost. Cheyenne turned his attention to the boy. "What's with this kid?" he asked. The woman explained. "He said he's lost. We should probably take him to someone who can help." Cheyenne knelt beside Yevgeny and smiled kindly. "Hey, do you know your parents' phone number?" Yevgeny's lip quivered as he began to cry again. He shook his head and mumbled that he didn't know. He realized the situation was too dangerous to act rashly. Not now. He decided to shift tactics. Standing up, he ran toward the woman. "Please help me find my mom," he cried, sounding genuinely distressed. "I'll use her maternal instinct," he thought. Get close to the target that way. But just before he reached her, Cheyenne's hand clamped gently down on his shoulder. He picked Yevgeny up and spoke softly. "Hey, don't cry." He smiled, but when he leaned closer to Yevgeny's ear, the smile twisted into something colder. "No one likes snot-nosed kids. Didn't they teach you that?" Yevgeny flinched slightly, a flicker of fear in his eyes. Cheyenne placed his finger firmly against the side of the boy's neck. Yevgeny's eyes widened. "Is that a gun?" Frowning, Cheyenne's voice dropped. "Sit still. I'm gonna need a talk with your director. You do know how to contact him, don't you?" Yevgeny gave a tense smile and slowly pulled the knife out again. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, feigning innocence, but his voice betrayed a tremor of fear. Cheyenne caught a flash of steel in Yevgeny's hand. With a swift motion, he struck the boy's wrist, knocking the knife loose. "Look at this," he said sharply, addressing the others nearby. "Just a little kid." The knife clattered to the floor. Cheyenne stepped on it, hiding the blade beneath his foot. The woman nearby turned toward the sound, her brow furrowed. "Did you hear something?" Cheyenne shook his head casually. "No, nothing." She glanced back at them and paused. Yevgeny had slumped forward, resting his head on Cheyenne's shoulder. "Did he fall asleep?" she asked. "Must be exhausted," Cheyenne said, brushing the boy's hair aside as if everything were normal. Just then, rescue workers arrived at the store and began guiding people out. The woman looked around urgently. "Where's his mother?" she asked. Cheyenne reached into Yevgeny's pocket, finding a phone. "He's got a phone," he said. "I'll try calling." Elsewhere, deep in the mansion of the dead, a phone rang, shrill and unexpected. The director stirred in his bed, groaning. "What now?" he muttered, swinging his legs over the side. "I told them not to contact me directly." He pulled on a robe, irritation in every movement, and crossed the room. Picking up the receiver, he snapped, "Yes." A voice replied on the other end. The director blinked, recognizing it instantly, and a slow, knowing smile crept across his face. "Cheyenne," he said warmly, all irritation forgotten. And that's where our video ends. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and leave a comment down below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're updated on our next content. Until the next video, take care always.